tighten up. Let's get tightened up. Tightened up. Tightened up. Tightened up.
It's a brand new dance and we about to go live. Tighten up, Nashville, rep the 615. First you tighten 2 steps, step to the right. Then you tighten 2 steps, step to the left. Blue jerseys everywhere, game face, yeah we got it on. Sticking out our chest, beating on it like it's King Kong. Countdown, it's about to get rough. Here come the train, y'all. Tennessee, tighten up.
What's up, guys? 65 South Sports with my boys Chandler, Darius, and Weldon. How y'all feeling tonight?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We good, man.
Already
My man Welton. My man Welton with the number one, what's it called? The ribbon? Yeah. Throwing stiff arms like King Henry. I see you. Yeah, okay. We're getting a little live in here. It's cool. All right, so what's up, guys? We're going to talk about a few things today. It might be a little bit shorter of a show than it normally is just because there hasn't been much going on, quite honestly. But we're going to talk about some pro day. We're going to talk about Matthias Farley, the Titans' new signing at the safety position. We're going to talk about my boy Justin Fields because there has been some slander on his name, and I'm not for it. And we're also going to talk about the 17-game season. Man, I know these players ain't happy about it, but we're just going to mention it. And then just for our old fans, the OG fans, basically, we're going to bring back Chandler's segment to close out the show, Good, Bad, Ugly. Going to have some fun with it, have a little funny little segment. But to kick it off, we're just going to mention this real quick because there's not much on him. Matthias Farley signed with the Titans. He actually hasn't really done much in the past 3 years. The last time he was a consistent starter was 2017, which I forgot this, and maybe y'all didn't, I don't know, but he was with Indy for about 4 years. So he's kind of familiar with the Titans to begin with. But out of the last 3 seasons, he's appeared in, 29. He's appeared in 34 games, and he's only started 3 games. So I kind of see him as a rotational piece. I think the Titans are probably going to draft somebody high at that safety position if I had to guess. But there's not much on him. So I just figured I'd mention it, just kind of talk about it real quick before we actually get into the show, since that's really the only Titans news we've had recently. But yeah, just kind of short. So kicking it off real quick, we're going to talk about pro days. My man Welton was mentioning that in the group chat. That was something he wanted to talk about. So I guess the first thing I'll bring up is Kyle Pitts, because here today on Twitter, I mean, his measurables, his 40, like everything that's been happening so far with him has been unreal. I mean, he's 6'5", 6'6", running a 4.4, like 245 pounds running a 4.4, and he's got the 3rd longest wingspan out of any skill position player in the past 21 years. Like, dude is a freak. And I've been looking on Twitter pretty much all day. I know the Titans don't have any shot at getting him, but I just thought that was crazy. Welton, who was some guys that you were paying attention to? Because I know you've been on it. Chandler, I know you've been on it too. So what do you guys have to add to that real quick?
Go ahead, Welton.
All right.
This you.
LOL. So one person I was really interested in looking at, who I think had a fantastic pro day, was Elijah Moore, wide receiver from Mississippi. A.J. Brown's old teammate, which would be great. You know, if we draft him, I'm sure he's advocating, as he said on Twitter. You know, Chandler dropped a tweet here. You feel me? But he was definitely excited about, you know, bringing his own teammate on, which, of course, who wouldn't be? Which I think is interesting, is we have another opportunity with Joe Burrow to do the same thing a little earlier with Jamar Chase, you know, if they decide to go that way. But I think Elijah Moore really stood out at his pro day. I mean, he's 5'9", $185, so we're about almost the same kind of size. I've been in the gym now. I'm like 5'8", $174, so I got a little ways to go. But, you know, he's very explosive. I think PFF had him at like a 92.4, 92.3, which is crazy by their standards. So he's very productive receiver, does what he needs to do. Great, you know, yaks. And of course you're playing in the SEC, right? So you're playing against Bama, LSU, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Michigan. So you play against those kind of teams, but you also played against, well, I just won't say UT. It's not like we have anybody. worthwhile on the quarterback side. But you're playing against a LSU defense. You're playing against, a Bama defense. So Georgia defense, Florida defense. So you're going up against good competition. So I really am looking forward to seeing what he's able to do. Ran a 4.38. You know what I'm saying? Had a pretty nice broad jump if I remember correctly. So he could be a burner and stretch the field. We could have somebody working one area. So I think it was really good to see him do a good pro day if the Titans opt for a receiver there. But my favorite is Rashad Bateman. That's my guy who I would love to see. Very versatile, can line up inside, outside, about 6'2". So I'm looking there and seeing what he'll be able to do.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention real quick about Elijah Moore, because I feel like he's one of those guys that everybody's big on right now. Like a few months ago, I feel like he wasn't really that big of a name, but like here recently, everybody's jumping on his hype train. Daniel Jeremiah, which my boy Chandler's going to hook me up real quick in the editing, Daniel Jeremiah, me and him were talking about it. He made like this measurable comp for Elijah Moore, like somebody that he matches up really well in terms of like size and speed and like all that kind of stuff. And the comp that fit really close to what Elijah's done at his pro day was Tyler Lockett. So think about what Tyler Lockett does.
Like
and man, think about how nasty he is in open space. Like if Elijah Moore is anything like Tyler Lockett, some team's gonna get real good talent in this draft if they take him. So that was one pretty cool thing that I liked. Pretty much like everything, even down to like their vertical jump, their broad jump is the exact same. Like pretty much everything is the exact same other than their weight. Like Tyler Lockett's about 4 pounds heavier, but pretty much everything's exactly the same. So I thought that was kind of crazy. And now that I think about it, like when I watch Elijah play, like especially when he takes like yak yards and stuff, like, I mean, that's a real good comp in my opinion. Dima, have you been keeping up with pro days or anything like that?
Yeah, I have.
Who you been watching?
I have been like kind of in the, I know this is maybe like kind of early, but I feel like, and the reason why I'm going to tie everything up in a second is I know this is kind of crazy, but it's like for me, my stance for the Titans in the first round was to go defense. But I know that the loss of Corey Davis is going to affect the Titans more than people think. So even though I am an advocate
and Jonnu.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. And
Humphries, even though he was hurt.
Exactly. So I've kind of opened my ear to letting the Titans not being mad if the Titans went receiver in the first round. So there's, obviously like Kadarius Toney and like how Wilton mentioned Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore. But someone who I've been keeping my eye on, someone who I've been looking at, and he may be gone, but he may slide. But I'm really starting to like Terrace Marshall Jr. 6'3", 200 pounds, has the catch radius, like wingspans long. Just doing some, research on him. I think he had 10 touchdowns this season, but in 2019, he had 13. And in 2019, that's when he had to share the field with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Mm-hmm. So if you're on the field with 2 first-round wide receivers and you still scoring 13 touchdowns, like that's pretty impressive. And I feel like that's something that the Titans will need. So his pro day measurables is I think he had a 39-inch vertical, 10.4 broad, which is for someone that height, he's gonna have to explode off them legs. And I think he had a 4.38. But am I the only one who feel like everybody had like 4.3s today? It's like
LSU, they had like 4 people with a 4.38.
Yeah, they did. They had Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall, Rafi McCrath, and Kerry Vincent Jr. All 3 of them ran 4.3s.
I said, wait a minute, honestly, man. Them stopwatches ain't working right.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
It didn't move.
Because the combine, you got to think, like the combine, they got lasers. So it's like everything's going to be exactly what it should be. But my thinking is these guys doing stopwatches, like they're trying to get these guys drafted high. They're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna shave off about a tenth of a second for you to help you out, you know.
Right.
But I don't know. That was one thing I was thinking about too, for sure. And also one thing about Terrace Marshall specifically, Titans fans love Teron Davenport. I mean, you know, he's one of the big reporters for the team. Teron tweeted about him. So I don't know if he knows something we don't or whatnot, but usually when Teron's tweeting about you, that normally means something, at least a little bit. Because I remember he was really big on A.J. Brown too before the draft. So I don't know, maybe. But I agree with you because I remember –
He tweeted about Elijah Moore too.
I don't know. Let me see.
I thought
I mean, as far as I can tell.
I thought I favorited it. It might have just been A.J. Brown advocating for him, but I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, he's been tweeting about Jalen Phillips a lot, that defensive end from
Yeah, I
Miami.
like him too. Yeah, he's nice.
Yeah. But Elijah, I mean, I'm sure he has said something about Elijah Moore. I mean, I feel like everybody, Titans-wise, especially on Titans Twitter, they've been on him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is. But, yeah, Teron's been talking about Terrace Marshall here recently. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's an option for the Titans for sure. Because you got to think, like, Jamar Chase, he's wide receiver 1. Like, he's going early. And then guys like Devontae Smith, he's probably going top 10 at this point.
Yeah. Waddle's going
yeah, Waddle's going to go probably top 10, top 15, somewhere in there. So I wouldn't be surprised if Terrace Marshall. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Terrace Marshall's there, or at least close to where the Titans pick, for sure. Chandler, you got anybody you want to touch on real quick?
Not really. Y'all kind of touched on shoot. Y'all know I'm a Bears fan, so I've been mainly looking at quarterbacks, even though there's no point looking at them. But I don't know, just it's kind of weird just because, you know, everybody's, you know, we're going to get into it here in a minute with Justin Fields, but the Mac Jones stuff that's kind of been going around while he's kind of climbing, but because some people were saying, you know, there were a lot of mixed reviews, I guess, because remember what they had 2 pro days, what they did?
Yeah, they had 2 days, yeah.
So in that first one, everybody was like, oh, there was some people saying, oh yeah, look at his deep ball, like the analysts, they were like these receivers are literally stopping and slowing down to catch his deep ball. That's not a good sign. So why his stock has just kind of climbed that rank, that's kind of been the biggest kind of news for the pro days for me, outside of what happened today with, you know, the Kyle Pitts, and then you got your LSU boys that, once again, there may be something wrong with them stopwatches, though. How 4 people ended with a 4.38, that's a little skeptical to me, but, you know, oh well.
Yeah, so I'm glad you were actually talking about Mac Jones in specific, because this whole thing with Mac Jones and Justin Fields and Zach Wilson, like, I feel like it's all kind of interconnected, right? Like the trade with San Francisco, like I know Chandler doesn't agree with me on this, but I think San Francisco's taking Justin Fields.
I mean, there's a good chance they are. It's just when Schefter reports something, you know, you got to kind of keep a open ear to it. You know, you got to keep a little bit open, because he's like, it's not a guarantee they're taking a quarterback. They more than likely will. You don't trade you don't trade normally all that for a non-quarterback, but I'm just saying, if Schefter reports something, you know, there's a reason he says it. He doesn't just say it for no reason.
But this is my thing, right? All right, so everybody's talking about Mac Jones and talking about Kyle Shanahan's offense, and they think for whatever reason, like Mac Jones fits his offense, and Kyle Shanahan actually went to Mac Jones's pro day instead of Ohio State's for Justin Fields. So that kind of added to it, that people think San Francisco's going to take Mac Jones over Justin Fields. And I think it's crazy, bro. Like, I think it's crazy. Just think about what Justin Fields does and his athleticism and his ability to improvise and, like, the short game and all this kind of stuff. Like, Justin Fields would absolutely crush it in Shanahan's offense. I'm not saying Mac Jones won't, but, like, when you look at what Mac Jones does versus what Justin Fields does and the fit, it's crazy to me, bro. And everybody's on this kick that, like, for whatever reason, over the past few days, Mac Jones has just skyrocketed into the top 3 or whatnot. And I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Well, I'll say this: the Justin Fields situation. I mean, if from what it sounds like, the Jets will possibly be passing on him, unless for whatever reason Urban Meyer down in Jacksonville says, "Nah, I want my boy out recruited." That shouldn't be happening, but unless for some odd reason that does happen, yeah, I mean, you trade up, Sanford. I think a lot of people kind of see that Mac Jones, pocket quarterback, can run play action like Matt Ryan did with Atlanta when Shanahan was there. But the other thing you also got to look at is, he went to Mac Jones Pro Day probably because he needs to know more information about Mac Jones over Justin Fields. We know who Fields is at this point. Fields freaking balled out on Bama for, I don't know how many yards he did. I mean, they lost, but he put up numbers left and right. It didn't make sense because it was like, this performance really going to up his draft stock. And then all of a sudden Fields' stuff just keeps going down and down, which once again made absolutely no sense. I'm like, for whatever reason, I mean, Fields killed it at his pro day. What did he run, like a 4.44?
Yes.
I don't
Crazy.
Get it, man. I think me and Weldon probably on the same page. You know what it is, Weldon. Black quarterback, man. They just don't want the black quarterback to succeed, dude.
Man.
Yeah,
look,
100%, man. You're seeing it in Houston, and you're seeing even more in the media. They want to boost Mac Jones, think he's a great. But think about it, you had all pro receivers, bro. Like
exactly.
To play devil's advocate.
I'm like I see it, bro. Like
I feel you. I feel you for sure. But to play devil's advocate, I mean, so does Justin Fields. Like Chris Olave. Chris Olave's a dog, bro. First round for sure. But my thing, just you take anything out of it, like all the variables, like all this type of stuff. Like, how are you gonna look at a quarterback that runs a 4.4 and can throw the ball and say, nah, that's not gonna work? Like, it makes no sense, like at all. I just don't.
And to me, it makes a lot of sense. That's like what they should do with not San Francisco, but they do with Pat Mahomes. You rock with Garoppolo another year. Then you trade him or do what you need to do to let Justin Fields, get acclimated to the NFL, start him week 16, 17, 18 now since it's another game. If you know what I'm saying, if depending on how they are, if they don't make playoff contention, if they get hit with another injury bug, so it makes sense to draft him. You don't trade up for, unless you trade for Kyle Pitts, but you already have Kittle, so there's no reason for you to really trade up.
Scary dude.
Ooh, that would
be that Hernandez Gronk situation right there.
Man, I'm a killer, but don't push me. Ooh.
No. And I ain't a killer, but don't push me.
I'm dropping that.
Man. You remember? Hey, look, since you brought it up, you remember? I can't remember which Titan player it was, but he posted that picture on Instagram where he said, "Yeah."
Was it Cortland? It wasn't Cortland Finnegan, was it?
No,
he was like a backup.
It was a backup.
But he said Aaron Hernandez told me I'm gonna kill you, and little did I know.
I remember seeing that.
Right.
I don't know if y'all seen it before, but like Brandon Marshall's podcast he does with Chad, if you want to call him Johnson, Ochocinco, whatever, and
Fred Ochocinco.
Like they were sitting there because they had Cam on there, man. They were talking about the Hernandez situation, and it was just like,
because Cam was on that team. Ooh, that's right,
bro. And they were just like, man, we don't know who Aaron Hernandez is. He's like, he's known as Chico, like to us, like so. It's not like, so it's like. But they just really, they're like, the guy I knew didn't do that. And they were having a hard time trying to, piece it together if he actually did what they're saying. So I'm like, man, I don't know, but
realistically though, could you imagine if, like, I don't see it happen, obviously, but let's just say San Francisco does take Kyle Pitts. Kittle and Kyle Pitts together, bro. Like,
if Garoppolo was a better quarterback, maybe. But I feel seen enough of him.
I mean, I think so too. But like, when you got two guys that are running 4.5s and they're both like 6'5", 250, I don't think it matters, bro.
Both coming off block. Ooh,
man. And then you got Debo on the outside too. Like,
and what's that receiver they drafted from Arizona State? Brandon
Ayuk.
Yep.
And y'all forgot Jason's favorite San Francisco 49er player.
Richie James.
We ain't talking Richie James. Jalen Hurd. Former Beach running back.
Jalen Hurd.
Jalen Hurd, yes, sir.
Looking to see if he can get his first snaps this year.
Man, 49ers just out there drafting big dudes that can run. Because Jalen's like 6'4", about 230, 240. Man. Anyways, I don't know. I just wanted to mention that because I saw that picture. Man, this is what triggered me right here. I saw that picture of Mac Jones with the cigar in his mouth and his shirt off, and he was looking a little chubby. And I was like, you can't tell me you taking a quarterback that looks like that over Justin Fields, bro. Like,
Right.
it's crazy, bro. I can't do it. Hey, look, I hope him all the success. I hope he comes in the NFL and does a good job so he can support his family, all that type of stuff. But me personally,
the shot. Yikes.
man, you give me Justin Fields 100 times out of 100. If those are the two guys I got to pick between.
What if the Patriots take him if he falls to the Pats? You think they take Justin Fields? Have Cam as a mentor?
I
I think
mean,
you would
I
have
mean,
to.
You already
that's
signed a great offense.
That's
Invested in it.
15.
Yeah, if he
That's
fall
far
that
as
far,
you
man. If he fall
Yeah, I
that
don't
far,
think
the
it
Bears
falls.
better be trading up.
Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, who won the Heisman, fell to 31. Or
Yeah, but he
30,
didn't win the
or
Heisman
we're at
that
32.
year. He didn't win the Heisman that year.
but
It's Lamar Jackson. It is
I
Lamar
mean, I'm just
Jackson.
saying though, like it wasn't like that year.
I think
That
the
year he probably
Panthers
would've
are going
won.
to take a quarterback before the Patriots will.
Who?
yeah.
The Panthers. I think they'll probably get a quarterback before that for the Patriots.
Because I don't think
Because
they like
Trey
Teddy.
Lance too.
Right. I mean, I think Teddy's a good bridge quarterback, no pun intended.
Oh man,
LOL.
Demo with the. No, but I don't know. The quarterback situation is so interesting to me because it's like you got freaks like Zach Wilson that can throw the ball 65 yards off his back foot, but we don't really know what he's capable of in the NFL. It's kind of like Pat Mahomes. Same thing with Pat Mahomes. Like when he came out, everybody was like, he's a giant question mark, but he's got freakish arm talent. And then you got guys like Justin Fields who literally can do anything you need him to, but still kind of getting overlooked. You got guys like Trey Lance that played one game this year, but he's looked at as a top 10 quarterback. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, the quarterback situation is going to be really interesting to watch, I feel like.
And we didn't even mention the best quarterback in this whole class.
Yep. T-Law.
Right.
Yep. Sunshine. That's my boy.
Kyle Trask, everybody.
That's what I was going to say. I thought it was like, Kellen Mond.
Oh, Lord. I don't know who worse. At least Trask 2 touchdowns.
He
No,
should
that's-
have been a Tennessee Vol, man. He should have been a Tennessee Vol.
Who?
Hurts my heart, man. Trevor Lawrence.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Can you imagine what would have happened in Knoxville if they got
With him
Trevor
and Amari
Lawrence?
Rogers?
Bro.
And T. Higgins? All of them could have went to you. Ooh.
You got to think too, because they would have been coming up with Jawan. They would have coming up with Marquez. Man,
Also, so much.
Kamara.
Man.
They would have had Kamara for a year, too, probably.
oh my God, bro, Butch Jones.
Bro,
man.
that just tell you how
What a-
bad Butch was, man. Kamara is a top running back in the NFL, and he didn't use him except on third downs. And then until Jalen Hurd finally went crazy.
Man,
He put
you know
him
what's
on the bench.
crazy to me? What's crazy to me is Trevor Lawrence wears 16 because of Peyton, and they
His
still couldn't
parents
get
met at QT. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, bro. What? How do you not sign him? Peyton Manning should just come and just be with him the entire weekend. Like, what do you want to do, bro? Like, they tripping.
That's literally Tennessee football in a nutshell. Like they got a giant, just like certified stud in their backyard that wants to go to Knoxville, and
It's
they
like
find a way to
chip
mess
in
it
and
up.
you just jack it. It's a chip in and you jack it. You just like, how do you jack that, bro? It's right there on the cusp. I don't get it. I can't get.
Man, I don't know. I don't really want to talk about Tennessee football because it's just gonna make me depressed. So we're gonna move on to the 17 game.
And he's got a
season real
Tennessee
quick.
jacket on right now, everybody. If y'all gonna
Man,
He got the flag. He got the flag over there.
Look, I got the
Got the
jacket.
banner. We see it, bro.
I got the flag, man.
He drinking out the cup.
I got the cup. I got that. Look, I got the helmet. Like, I got it all out here. Like, I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it.
Tennessee and the T stands for terrible.
Man, terrible. All right. So I guess we're gonna move on to the 17 game season because this is like the first thing that actually happened that I feel is like notable. Man, I know these players are mad about that. I already know. It's crazy, man. Like the NFL is so stingy. Can we talk about this real quick? Like the NFL, they know. But what's funny about it is the way they pitched it. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's 17 games, but we're cutting one of the preseason games."
Yeah, we
It's
knew
like
they
everybody
were gonna do that though. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but aside from that, everybody knows nobody cares about preseason games. Like that don't mean nothing.
To the fans, no, most starter players, no, the guys who are trying to make the roster, it means the entire world. But
Yeah.
Right.
But you're basically saying like, all right, well, we're cutting one of the games where like the bottom of the roster guys have even less of a chance to make the team.
Well.
So now I think the one thing that you're gonna see is like the certified like the veterans that have played a lot of snaps and all that kind of stuff. They're like, even if they're not necessarily as talented as they were, or if they're like over the hill, they're gonna get a lot more looks now too. Like teams aren't gonna be as willing to take shots on guys that maybe have like behavioral issues or like haven't played as much or whatnot. Like you're gonna see the more, I guess, established guys get way more looks, which is crazy. But I mean, 17, I'm not happy about it, honestly. Like as much as I love more football, like you got to think like these guys, they don't want to play 17 games and put their bodies on the line again. Like,
for real.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I think you kind of hit it like on the head because, and even Alvin Kamara, like when he like quoted that on Twitter, and you know,
Yep.
he was like, "Yeah, But I was saying the same thing. Like these players have to preserve their body, and the reason why it is kind of contradicting to me is because the NFL is always trying to take this stance about CTE and concussions and all this stuff, but you're adding more games. I feel like everything was fine with where it was, but the only, I guess, like kind of benefit I see is like Derrick Henry could probably run for like 2,000 again, like or just something like insane or something like that. But like you're going to see a lot of more 2,000-yard running back seasons right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still hard to do, but give an extra game or two, is going to obviously give you more leeway to do that. But
I mean, if the Titans play the Jags in Week 17, Derrick Henry might have 2,300 yards or something, because he likes to go off against the Jags, something like that, something crazy. I mean, he might break the rushing record.
Hey man, I know this is a sidebar, but if he didn't fumble against Houston in Week 17, he would have broke that record. I don't care. He because I think he ended like 70 yards away, and I mean he was just eating that drive. But that's beside the fact. But
he's sick about that one too.
Oh yeah, he knows if he didn't fumble on that drive, he would have broke that all-time record, in my opinion.
And he doesn't fumble. Like that's another thing. He doesn't fumble like ever.
Right.
It's like a freak thing.
Right, and he carries the ball more than anybody in the league. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, back to the subject. Like I don't really care for it that much, but it is more money for the league, which what we do. Okay, I mean, you guys are already $1 billion industry. Okay, whatever. But you have to think about the players at the same time. That's kind of my only thing.
I know Chandler's Bears are the only team that voted against it.
Yep.
Standing up for the players. Yep. Standing up for the players. Look at them. The noble ones.
I'm gonna go last on this one. Well, you can go right ahead.
The Bears said we don't want to see another game with Nick Foles as our quarterback. I'm not Nick Foles. Who's their quarterback?
Dalton.
Dalton, that's a fucking quarterback. My bad. But anywho, one thing I'll say, I guess I feel like players are just gonna. I kind of disagree with you, Jason, a little bit. As far as you said, the veterans are going to get more established look. I think you're going to see more younger guys get established look as more veterans are going to take off through the preseason. I think personally, I think they might play the first game. I mean the third game, kind of leading up to it. But I think you're going to see a lot more younger guys kind of getting some looks. Maybe not the high heads. Yeah, that is true. Not some of the headaches, but I think some of the teams, like the established players, are going to be like, look, I'm going to save it for the first game of the season. That'll kind of be my preseason. the second game and like the last game and the first game. So they might let some of the younger talent kind of play the first two games and really get a good look at them, maybe for the whole game. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just kind of splitting first half, second half. So that, I think from that perspective, some of the veterans might try to preserve their bodies for the full season. But I just think, like you said, players aren't happy about it. But I mean, for the fans, I mean, I'm happy to see the Saints play. The Titans again. I think that's a good game. Last year that we played them.
I think that was the game Derrick Henry didn't play. Derrick
Henry didn't play, but he still ended up rushing for 2,000. So
that was the year before.
It is what it is.
Oh, my bad. The year before that.
Yeah, the year before that.
But the same way he rushed for 2015 games.
I'm like, boy, that boy different breed now. That boy is different reincarnated.
But I definitely think it's gonna be it's just interesting. It's more football, like but I am kind of glad to see the league make some sort of changes, even though it's not player oriented. But they made a seventh playoff team, so that's cool. To kind of have that come in and more competition, an extra game. Maybe that just bodes well for there's more competition throughout the league. So it could be a blessing and a curse. I see both ways for sure. So,
Taylor, what you got?
Yeah, so basically, y'all hit the points. My biggest thing is that they didn't add in another bye week for the players. You're going to have all these guys – because if they keep this crap where they're having a bye week where your first bye week is week 4, that is horse crap, bro. You can't play from week 5 to week 18 without another bye week in the middle. So, I mean, that's one of my biggest issues. But the NFL knew what they were doing this entire time because when the last collective bargaining agreement, once that thing ended, they knew they could add on this next game. And then they knew Disney was going to be up in that contract. Disney's new contract with the NFL is going to be between 2.4 and 2.6 billion. So they knew they were getting more money funded. ESPN now is going to be back on the Super Bowl train. So, we're now going to get the full cycle of that. But I mean, the owners, the owners are always greedy. I am part of that boat, more football, more better. But, I mean, for you look to it as a player standpoint, and none of them are going to be happy about that. Outside of maybe, a few guys that, football, my life, I die on this field and whatnot. I don't sign up to that philosophy by some of them players, but it is what it is. But we could see teams starting to rest players though, like they do in the NBA. Like, it may be a week or two where you see, okay, we're getting a rest. Like say the Titans are, let's say 10-3 at week 14 or week 15, whatever it is. It's like, oh, well, we got the Houston Texans that Deshaun's not playing, and everybody else, Will Fuller's gone, everybody's hurt on that team. Yeah, we'll put in whoever the backup quarterback is and let him run.
Right.
Derrick Henry get a break. AJ, rest that leg you've been dealing with for the last 3 years. So
let these rookies get some rest.
They may have mandatory rest days that it's not mandatory, but they may
team organized rest days.
Yeah.
They're simulating the week in franchise mode. That's what they're doing.
Send the next week.
Yeah.
So I mean, we may see something like that. Look, if there's anybody that's gonna probably take advantage of that, it's Bill Belichick.
Bill
Belichick gonna find a way. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, we got the cameras lined up, man. We good to go. We don't even need to. Yeah, Cam, go ahead and sit to the bench. Mac Jones, sit down. Yeah, sit him. We're gonna let you play this week.
Hey, what's funny? Like the way that now that you brought that up, it made me think about it. Like at my job, I was working 10-hour shifts at Amazon, and I was like, they make me take my lunch break at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm here from 7:30 to 5. So it's the same thing with these NFL schedules. If these dudes got bye weeks at like week 5, like by like week 12, week 13, they're like, man, this is ridiculous.
And then they got Derrick Henry. And then they got Derrick Henry coming through at week 17 into the playoffs. Ooh wee.
Man, that's crazy. I'm glad you brought that up because I thought about it, but not really like the idea of it. Like some of these teams are gonna get real slick with it. Like they're gonna find a way to take some weeks off throughout the year.
Yeah,
for
they're
sure.
gonna have to.
Yeah. They should, honestly. I mean, that's what I would do. I'd be like, nah, coach. Throw in my backup. I'm good. I'll sit this one out. I don't blame them.
We're playing the Lions this week. It's cool.
All right, so to close this week out real quick, we're gonna do our segment Good, Bad, Ugly. As we normally do, we're gonna let my man Chandler kick it off. Y'all want to do Good, Bad, Ugly like all together, or do you all want to go like in a round, like all of us do good, all of us do bad, all of us do ugly? What do y'all think?
Do good. I say do good. And then cut it back bad. Cut it back ugly. That's my.
I got you. That's fine. That's
So
fine.
you can put good on the screen. Boom, good. The sound effect. Boom, boom.
I got you. So
All right, Chandler,
my
go
good.
ahead.
My good. We're gonna go ahead and kick it off to March Madness, and I think you got to go ahead and give it to Gonzaga and that boy Drew Timmy. Them boys is playing lights out, man. They kicking everybody's butt up and down the whole dang court. So I mean, it's a problem. And UCLA is probably about time for them. They're gonna be headed back to Los Angeles. And I mean, it's just crazy, man. Because if you're not getting Drew Timmy in foul trouble, he's going for 20 plus, like with no problem. Now, if they do, end up beating UCLA, and Baylor ends up making it, Baylor may be there just because Baylor's better defensively than any other team they would have played at this point. But yeah, my good is going to Gonzaga, man. Them boys been hooping.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what you got?
My good, I'm pretty sure it was this week. It's kind of weird. The week is Wednesday, so but my good was definitely Derrick Henry working out. Seeing him on the bench, seeing him with the chains on, the ball. I'm sitting here like, let's go. Like, that man is crazy strong. He's crazy athletic, really a freak of nature. And it's great to see him in great shape and preparing for this 17-game season where he's going to wear some people out. So that was my good. Shit, that was really great.
Built in a lab.
Facts.
Man, creative player.
Man, for sure. Demo, what you got, bro?
All right, so my good literally is nothing sports related.
No, that's good. That's cool.
Yeah, I know. Just to break it up a little bit. So I didn't say anything yet, but I know it's gonna sound crazy because I'm kind of like out of school, but I have to get this done. So I've been putting this off because I'm kind of scared of the dentist, but I finally scheduled my root canal appointment. So your boy is going to have braces coming up soon. Yo, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that's where you were going with it.
Yeah, it turned real quick. So once I get like my root canals and stuff like taken care of, like I've been having this tooth since I was like a kid, like in the back. All right, here. I have to get that fixed. I can't have that. I can't have that. No. And then also like I've been having like some like bad tooth pains like a little bit every now and then. So I'm just like, look here, man. I gotta get taken care of. I gotta get my grill straight. So I'm trying to get the ceramic braces. Over there, man. Man, that's hey, well, you have braces?
No, bro, I had God.
Oh, okay. That's all.
Look at them pearly whites, boy.
Yeah.
Boy, I had got Kellen though. My teeth used to be buck as hell back in elementary school, man. They just closed up. It was God, bro.
Well, with that excellent dental plan over there, man.
Boy, see, I'm trying to use my mom works at Bank. I'm trying to use her insurance before it works out. So
yeah, you get on it, man.
Got to.
But that is my good.
All right, well, I'm glad you're getting that under control because, look, man, I'm not even going to lie. I got the same problem. I'm so nervous around doctors and all that kind of stuff. I'm
the dentist scares me, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody actually like going to the dentist.
Bro, I used to like going to the dentist as a kid.
Yeah, as a kid.
I used to get a toy.
Yeah.
I was like 15, 16 asking for a Hot Wheels car, bro. I messed with the dentist.
Hey, when I was younger, my dentist, anytime I came in with no cavity, she gave me that certificate to Chick-fil-A for a free meal. Hey, look, I'm telling you. Yup, I'm telling you. All right, so my good, I mean, aside from all this sports stuff, like in our group chat, like for the people that are watching, like our group chat, we talk about a lot of stuff, but we talk about like movies and music and all this kind of stuff. And one thing that I love, I'm a big movie fan, and specifically Star Wars. I like Star Wars a lot. So the one good thing is Jar Jar Binks won't be in the Disney Plus show for Obi-Wan. Look, I don't care what nobody says. I hate Jar Jar Binks with a burning passion.
I love
Like,
Jar
I can't
Jar. I
stand
love Jar
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 Binks.
Binks.
Dude,
like,
okay, I promise you, I'll let you know. So I have to say this. I love Jar Jar Binks as a kid. I
nah,
had the
bro.
shirt. I had the shirt with Jar Jar on it. And I promise you, my mom will tell you, I wore that shirt like every day. I used to love Jar Jar Binks.
Nah, bro. Anytime he starts talking, Weesa. I'm like, nah, man, I can't be doing this. I'm not listening to this, bro. Like, I can't stand it. So I'm glad he's not gonna be a part of that because I love Obi-Wan. So that's my good for the league, for sure.
Yeah, that's too funny.
Demo's so hurt right now. He's hurt more than when Michigan got slapped.
Oof.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. I'm just like,
All right, Chandler, you're bad.
All right, so my bad goes to last night. The Los Angeles Clippers. Look, I get y'all didn't have Paul George. Paul George ain't been that at his highest since he's come back from that injury. But y'all blew the game to the Orlando Magic, who got rid of their three best players. Vucevic is gone to the Bulls. Thank you. Aaron Gordon is gone to Denver. And you see Evan Fournier.
Gucci Mane.
And y'all blew a game against the trash can Magic, who are trying to lose. Like, come on. Y'all got 66-45 in the second half. Y'all were up 13 points in the first quarter. They only scored 13 points in the first quarter, and y'all lost. That's a bad look, Ty Lue. That's a bad look.
Ty Lue, man, I'm telling you. Oh, man. All right, well, what you got, bro?
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. You know, it wasn't Doc Rivers. It's just the players at the end of the day, you know. So Doc's not there to help you blow at that time. There's no scapegoating him. Although he did have multiple 3-1 blown leads. But anyway, my bad this week was the UConn girls playing up against I forgot who did they play?
oh, they played. Was it?
They played Baylor.
Was it? It was
Baylor?
Baylor.
Yeah, they played Baylor.
They played
So they played Baylor. And they lost because, or that UConn girls won. Baylor lost because of a bad no call that everyone was, you know, from Dame Lillard, you know, to plenty of former players, you know, D Wade, Candace Parker, everyone was tweaking, and LeBron, right? So what I thought was bad, borderline ugly, was just LeBron and Gino Ariana, whatever. How he responded, he was like such a hey, it is what it is. They missed a foul call earlier, you know, everybody could have missed a foul call. They missed foul calls against us. What do you want me to do? Get back to win? And nobody's saying that. But I think we want to have some understanding that look, that was obviously a foul. Like if it was your team, you would be like in hell, you know, yeah, you would be pissed. Like you would be livid. So that's definitely, I think, was some of the bad, kind of how he responded to it, real arrogant. I get it. You're UConn, you're great, but you know, it was a bad look in my opinion.
It's almost as egregious as that Rams no call versus Saints not Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely.
Man.
Right. NFC Championship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw Demo tweeting about it. That was the first time I saw it was when Demo tweeted about it, and I was like, man, yeah, that's definitely a foul. Like, no way it's not a foul.
No doubt
that was
about
crazy.
it.
And in such a big moment, too. Like, that's – man, you got to make that call. All right, Demo, what's your bad?
I agree with Wilton. Dejanay Carrington, she got fouled, right? She got fouled on the way up and on the way down. Twice. She got fouled twice. Like she got hit on the wrist and then she didn't have a safe place to land. Like she obviously fell down. Like, come on. But okay, so I'm saving my ugly. Y'all already know my ugly is, so don't even worry about that. Because I have to say that for the finale. I'm going ham. Okay, so mine kind of ties with Chandler a little bit because Abby and I had placed a bet. And we made two separate bets. One bet was for these games to happen. UCLA, Michigan, we chose – on one bet we chose UCLA. And on one bet, we chose Michigan. So we were just like, okay, whoever – because that game for me and, well, for her and I, we thought that game was kind of too close. So it was like, okay, make the same bet, whatever. So we did that. everything happened. The last game is the Orlando Magic versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Everything. It was just so sickening. Like I don't think I've ever been that sick at Ty Lue ever. His name should be Ty Poo because there's no way. The Clippers this year are like the Clippers this year are so they're good, but they're mediocre. And I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah,
I feel like the Clippers are a bad team to bet on this year.
Man.
And if anybody who saw the end of that game, I mean, it was atrocious. And Welton even brought it up. He said, "Why those rims
bad?
Hey,
Bro, them bricks is loud as hell.
Kawhi for the tie. Man with the rebound. Sends it back out to Jackson for the tie. Up for grabs. Loose ball taken by Leonard. And taken back by Carter Williams. And punctuates the finish for Orlando. 101-96. And that about sums up the second half for the Clippers. A disappointing 24 minutes. But I'll tell you what, Orlando deserves a ton of credit tonight.
I'm rolling. I said, dang.
Somebody said I saw somebody on Twitter. They said he bricked so hard at the end. It sounded like somebody's closing a U-Haul door.
Yeah, I saw that. That was funny.
But yeah, that's my bad. Is that literally I had every I'll literally read you out. So UCLA won. UCLA won, Gonzaga won. Stanford won. And I think the Suns beat the Hawks, and then we just literally needed the Clippers to beat the Magic. That's literally it.
And if anything, you thought that was the biggest lock.
That's why we didn't make a separate one based on that.
Crazy. Man, that's like a gut punch. Like when everything hits and then that last game throws off your parlay. Like, man.
Yeah.
But anyways, all right, so I'm going to keep mine quick because we kind of just talked about mine anyways. My bad is Mac Jones. Getting all this hype over my boy Justin Fields. I'm not going to stand for it. Justin Fields is going to be my Madden quarterback for the next few years, guaranteed. Yeah, I'm not for this Justin Fields slander. So that's me personally. Chandler, what's your ugly?
Yeah, real quick. I didn't really want to spend too much time on this anyway, but going to the whole Deshaun Watson situation, it's just
That was mine.
well, okay, yeah. So I'll let you speak on it. It's just way. I don't want to speak on it personally, just because there's a lot out there that we don't know what's true and what's false. So, but just that entire situation that's been unfolding the last 2 weeks, or maybe if it's been.
Yeah, and Chandler hit the nail on the head. I know that's family and everything, so you ain't gonna speak on it, but it's definitely wild that all of this is coming out, and now that it looks like more credible sources are coming out. You know what I'm saying? Not just just the owner, just other people speaking out, and him going through intermediaries and other people kind of contact people or he's trying to cover up tracks now. So I don't know if it's real or fake. I don't know what's going on because, like Chandler says, and it's a very sensitive topic for everyone, but it's getting real ugly in Houston. I'm not gonna lie. It was already ugly with John Wall, and James Harden getting out. Now it's they already cheated in baseball, and now it's another professional team. So Houston is really going through the ringer right now with their professional sports ownership.
I mean, and they had the hurricane to hit them. Man,
it's just looking bad for Houston. So.
But then his lawyer even came out and kind of said something about they got other massage therapists that are backing Deshaun. So I don't know what's going on. It was just something we want to speak on briefly. We know Demo's going to take up the majority of this segment, so let's let him go. Actually, Jason, you go ahead and talk. Actually,
let Demo have the last word.
Yeah. So my ugly is my betting. Man, look. I run all these parlays, and I'm like, man, I'm about to make some money tonight. I'm going to just let y'all know now, the last bet that I hit was Derrick Henry rushing for 6 yards against the Colts in the first quarter.
That's nasty.
All right, let me tell y'all when that was. That was November 12th.
Bro,
we are
quit.
Bro,
just let it go, bro. Bro, let it go.
Yeah, it's rough out here, so I'm sorry, y'all. It's just bad. It's bad and ugly. All right, Demo, I'm gonna let you go on your tirade real quick. Stephen A. Smith moment.
Been on mute prepared.
I've been trying to get myself mentally ready for this. Okay. I'm going to try to make this quick, real quick, because I know we're on the time crunch. But y'all know I'm a Michigan fan.
That's nasty.
Since I was in middle school, you know, all the way through high school. We've never won anything since I've been a fan, which is cool. We've been to the national championship in 2013. That was the year Kevin Ware had the unfortunate leg injury. We went in 2018 where Dante DiVincenzo, a.k.a. people just said it. They called him White Dante, which is true. He came off the bench at like 25, 28 points. You know what I mean? So, look, let me tell you. First, this is the best team we've had. This is the best Michigan team we've had. I'm not even going to lie. It's better than that 2018 team, better than that 2013 team that had Trey Burke and all those guys. It's better than the Mo Wagner team. I know we had Isaiah Livers out. But let me tell you, there's no way you get 4 or 5 opportunities with under a minute left or with under 30 seconds left, and you miss layups, miss free throws. This has been abysmal. This shouldn't have never happened in the first place. And I'm just telling y'all now. Airball. All of it, bro. So, look, with that being said, I don't know. I still want Juwan Howard as a coach, but good God, we got to fix that program. Like, oh, gosh.
You talking football, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, football, too. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, athletics just have to be fixed. We have to win something. Just throwing it out there. We have to win something. None of my teams ever won anything.
Let's go ahead
Man,
and close this out, man.
RIP to Wolverines, man. All right, so that's our show for the week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Share it, like it, favorite it, all
Subscribe.
that kind of stuff. Yep, subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate y'all's support. See y'all later.
Yes, sir.